Well, it's time for the final episode of Hot Off the Bench. Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to another Hot Off the Bench. And I don't mean to unexpectedly spring this on you, but this is going to be the last episode of this segment on my channel. The reason I decided to call this to an end or retire this segment has a lot to do with my work schedule. This last year I switched over to a 4-day, 10-hour-a-day work week, which is nice because it leaves a 3-day weekend at the end of the week. But on the other hand, it doesn't leave very much time at the beginning or at the end of the day, which I used to try to squeeze things into during the week, so that means I have to jam-pack everything into the weekend. And even though these segments were only once a month, or at least that's what my goal was, it got to be more challenging to try to squeeze all this into the weekends. It's just gotten really to be a challenge, and I don't want this to turn into a burden because I've enjoyed doing the segments for you guys, but rather than it turning into anything like that, I decided just to go ahead and retire it here. I will continue to leave the episodes, of course, on the channel for you guys to rewatch if you wish. But whether I bring this back in the future or not, I don't know. We'll see. It's just not going to be anytime real soon. But I do want to say that I really appreciate all the support and the kind comments you've given me over the last couple years of doing these segments. I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad you've enjoyed watching these segments as well. So let's go ahead and get started with this episode. As usual, I'm going to be kicking it off with a slideshow and have some very unique models to share with you. Let's go ahead and get started. And up first is this amazing build by modeler Russel McLennan of the 1/350 scale Seaview. Russel's build includes the original stand, which was placed into a beautiful backdrop made of insulation foam. The stand and foam were coated with a couple of types of Vallejo texture media, and the plants were created using packing wrap for the kelp, which was then painted with Vallejo's mud brown and light rust. To create the coral, he took fiber optics and gently shaped and bent them over the heat of a soldering iron. He then coated them with Vallejo white stone ground texture. Russel also created these amazing jellyfish, and both the Seaview and jellyfish are lit with LEDs. Here's some video showing the complete effect. More video can be seen at Russel's YouTube channel, and the link is below. What a very creative display there, Russel. Thanks so much for sharing. And now we have this amazing build of the alien juggernaut as seen in the movie Promethius. This was built by a modeler from Spain who you can find on YouTube under the name Nemo61. This is a 3D printed model that can be found on Gambody, and I provided the link below if you're interested. Nemo did such an incredible job with detailing and painting of the ship. I absolutely love the look of the shading and paneling which he expertly applied using various paints from Vallejo and AK Interactive. The STL files include the base that it's mounted on, which is also beautifully painted. A video of the build can be seen on his YouTube channel. He has condensed and sped up the video so that you can quickly follow the project from beginning to end. Just an outstanding build. Thank you very much for sharing, Nemo. This really nice figure model of Captain America was done by modeler Simon Brett. This is Simon's first attempt at painting a figure, and I'm sure you'll agree he did a fantastic job with this Polar Lights kit. Simon used Vallejo Game Air paints for the project, and he also used 3 Vallejo mediums on the base. These included European thick mud, mud and grass effects, and their water texture. To help out with the project, Simon used paint masks from Lou Dalmaso, and this resulted in those nice clean lines that you see here. Really love what you did with this project, Simon. Thanks for sharing. Let's head over now to the 2001 universe with another incredible build from William Dunn. This space station is from Fantastic Plastic, and the model measures 8.5 inches in diameter and includes photo etch parts. He added LED lighting to the docking bays and some small details to the rim structures. The tiny Orion space clipper is mounted onto a piece of piano wire, and the ship can be removed or positioned as desired. Bill says this is one of the most difficult kits he has yet to work with. I think all of his efforts, however, paid off here. It's a beautifully done miniature of the famous station. Thanks for sharing, Bill. If you'd like to see more of this build, just click on the link that I've posted below. Alright, so here we have a few submissions from modeler Eugene Nolan, and since we're talking about the 2001 universe, let's take a look at his model of the pod. To light up the interior control panels of this Mobius kit, Eugene kept it simple by using one bright LED and then colored the buttons with markers. And for painting, he used spray cans along with painting masks from Aztec Dummy to help him out. Really nice job there, Eugene. And here we have an impressive 1/17 scale replica of the Buck Rogers Starfighter. The resin kit from Dynamic Digital Creations measures 21 inches in length, and Eugene did a really nice job duplicating the look of the miniature seen on the TV show. The Starfighter is one of my personal favorites, and this is quite an incredible recreation of the ship. Nicely done, Eugene. And finally, this is Eugene's Mark II Viper, also from Dynamic Digital Creations. Eugene used actual wire to add detailing to this 1/17 scale replica, and the decals seen here are from JBot. Another beautiful design, and I just loved how it pays homage to the original series Viper. Thanks for sharing, Eugene. You do some amazing work. Both the Starfighter and Viper can be found at Dynamic Digital Creations website, and the link is provided below. We'll get back to the Battlestar universe at the end of the slideshow, but in the meantime, let's head into the Star Trek universe with this build from Ronald Pope. This is the 1/1000 scale version of the Enterprise from Discovery from Polar Lights. Ron actually decided not to paint the model since he felt the model was already molded in the color that the ship is depicted on screen. He first applied a gloss coat before laying down Aztec decals from Polar Lights. Once done, he sprayed on a coating of semi-gloss to protect them, and here's a shot showing how the decals turned out. The kit was lit with the Polar Lights lighting kit, and as you can see, it turned out beautifully. Really nice job with this, Ron. Thank you for sharing. And staying in the Star Trek universe, we have this beautiful model of the USS Farragut by modeler Hagen Miller. This was created using a kit from Lake Monster Details to convert a 1/1400 scale Enterprise D model, and it depicts the USS Farragut as seen at the end of the Star Trek Generations movie. Besides the obvious structural variations, he notes that some of the windows on the D are not present on the Farragut, so he went so far as to fill those in. He also capped off the impulse engines and sanded away all of the raised panel lines. For lighting, he incorporated a strobe board which is embedded in the wooden base, and to eliminate the windows, he used a Dremel to thin the plastic on the inside of the saucer, and this allowed the light to bleed through. For Aztecing, 3 layers of masking was required, and this was then painted over with a blending coat. For the colors, he made his own mixes using Mission Model acrylics. Outstanding job on this, Hagen. I just had to share this when seeing your post on Facebook. Thanks for allowing me to show this beautiful piece. And up next, we have a couple of figures from modeler Brian Wilkinson. First up is a really cool figure of a Borg, which is a clear 1/8 scale resin kit from Gort. To achieve the lighting effects, Brian masked off some parts prior to painting. The figure was then lit with a green LED. The base you see here is completely scratch built and backlit. Next is this really nice replica of a Dalek from Doctor Who. This kit is from Airfix and was painted with acrylics and oils. The base that he scratch built depicts the episode The Cage. Beautiful job with these, Brian. Thanks for sharing these unique pieces. And what's a slideshow without a Star Wars model? This one here was built by modeler Eagle Farrell and is the Round 2 MPC Darth Vader TIE Fighter 1/32 scale. For the base color, he used a color from Folk Art, which is a craft paint, and the color is called Cloudy Day. Compared to reference pictures I've seen of this studio model, it looks like a nice match. The lighting he used for the interior perfectly illuminates the pilot figure, so you can't mistake the pilot for anyone else but the Dark Lord himself. And as you can see, he also provided illumination for the ion engines. As always, your work is amazing. Thank you for allowing me to share it here on the show. So to end this slideshow, let's get back to the Battlestar Galactica universe with this unique model from builder Pablo Sara. This 148 Cylon concept ship was designed by Pablo, and he calls it a Cylon Dart. Pablo says the Dart is a reconnaissance ship piloted by a single Centurion. Now, I was so fascinated by the process he went through that I'd like to scroll through these next pictures here showing you the development of the ship. Let's take a look. Pablo participated with this model in the HobbyLink International Galactica group build, and these pictures, along with others, and a discussion of the build can be found at the link that I've posted below. I think this is an amazing design, and it looks like something that Ralph McQuarrie himself would have come up with. It's very creative and beautifully done, Pablo. Thank you very much for sharing your incredible work. Well, there you go. More amazing work, as always. Thank you very much for allowing me to share your stuff, guys. I do appreciate you sending the pictures and the descriptions. And wasn't that scratch building project amazing at the end there? I really found it so interesting how he came up with it from beginning to end. It's something that I have yet to try. I've tried sketching and coming up with different concepts to see if I could design something that could look like it would work. And he did a fantastic job coming up with that. So thank you, Pablo, for allowing me to share all that. All right, so all of these slideshows, again, on a playlist that will be on my channel there under all the hot off the benches. If you want to take a look at them, they'll be there for you. Well, now it's time to talk about a tool that's going to help you out with model building. And what I'd like to expand upon is this little tool here that I briefly told you about in my last video. That was the robot from Metropolis. And I was able to get a hold of some more attachments for it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Well, like many of you, I do own a Dremel, and this has worked well through the years. I'll certainly continue to have it on hand. Mine is a bit older. As you can see, it's not cordless, and I know they do sell cordless ones now, and probably some that have even more speed variability than this one. But nonetheless, I've been wanting to get a hold of something smaller as an alternative for some time, and I was very happy to come across this. So again, this is a handheld rechargeable rotary tool that I happened to see on a video on YouTube last month. The modeler was using it to clean up a 3D printed model. Particularly, she was working on getting rid of the imperfections that were left over from the supports that you have to use, and it looked like it worked real well, so I ordered one. Now, the unit does come with this attachment that you see here that you can use for grinding and shaping, and but you can see it's kind of blunt and large. And I knew there were other attachments that you could order because I'd contacted that YouTube user to see if she could give me information about the pointed tip that she was using. So I knew there were other attachments that came or that were available, but I held off on ordering them at first because I just wanted to see how well it worked. But it worked so well with the Metropolis model, I decided to go ahead and order the additional set. So let me go ahead and show you a couple of these grinding tips here. The way that they are secured into place is you slide them into the rotary tool, and you have two small little screws on each side that you turn with an Allen wrench that's provided. So this button activates the tool, and by pressing it 3 times you have 3 speeds that are available to you. As you can see, it does a good job with grinding things down without melting the plastic, and it's also very easy to hold on to the object that's being worked on. Switching now to the pointed tip, you can see how much more control you have at directing the instrument, and this is where I can see it could be of great help, not only with those supports seen with 3D printed models, but with a lot of other situations as well. And here's a look at the other burrs that are included in the set. Now, as I said, the unit is rechargeable, and it comes with this plug-in that you use to charge up the battery. So I'm sure you can see how useful this tool could be. I'm definitely looking forward to using it. I think it's going to have a lot of uses. Unfortunately, I was told recently that Mechawarehouse has sold out of these, so I'm not sure when they'll be getting more in. You could certainly do a Google search for DSPAIE rotary tool. My friend Ken Spriggs, however, was able to get a hold of a different brand that does a similar thing, so I know it's not the only one on the market. Well, now it's time to wrap up with a final model tip for you, and this is an easy one, poster putty. This is adhesive poster putty that you can get at the office supply store, and like the name implies, you use it to hang stuff on the walls, particularly if you live in apartments where you can't nail things or you want to avoid using tacks, stuff like that. I use it here, like for example, it's holding up that piece right there, and you can use it to help you with painting. Now sometimes you might have pieces that are awkward, like say you have this barrel here, and one way that you can manage is to get what I have here is an old chopstick with a flat end, and this stuff is really sticky. You can just place your piece on there and you are good to go. Now you can use things like this to help support model pieces as well. These are these clips, alligator clips that have a cushioned end, so these are very helpful. But if you have a piece like this where it is round, obviously it wouldn't be the best to hold it like that. So again, this is where the putty is very helpful. Place it back on our stick here, and you're ready to paint. Pretty simple stuff. Well, that is going to be a final wrap for Hot Off the Bench. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I appreciate all your nice comments and support over the last couple years that I've put these on. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks again for watching. I'm going to try and squeeze in one more build before the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. And if so, I will see you in that video. Take care.